Mr. Speaker, on Friday, the Republican leadership has decided that we will adjourn for the holidays, notwithstanding the fact that we haven't done immigration reform, we haven't passed a jobs bill, we haven't extended unemployment insurance. They've all decided it's time to go home and enjoy the holidays. So on Friday, we will all leave and go back to our districts. And the one thing that we will all have in common, Democrats and Republicans, is we'll go back and we will enjoy the holidays and we will partake in many celebrations. And the one thing that we will not have to worry about is whether or not we'll have enough to eat. Our concern, quite frankly, will be overeating. But the fact is, for millions of our fellow citizens, close to 50 million Americans, they will have to worry about whether they will have enough to eat for them and their families. 50 million people in this country, the richest country in the history of the world, are hungry. 17 million are kids. All kinds of people fall in that category. Sadly, close to 1 million of our veterans rely on food assistance programs because they don't have enough to eat. Mr. Speaker, the fact that so many people in the United States of America are hungry is a national disgrace. We should be outraged. There should be outrage in this chamber. There should be a sense of urgency that we need to solve this problem. Yet what we see is indifference and in some cases outright hostility toward those Americans who happen to be poor. The House of Representatives recently passed the Farm Bill that cut the SNAP program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is designed to make sure people have enough to eat, but they've cut that program by $40 billion. In the Senate version, they cut it by about $4.5 billion. There's now a conference committee going on, and press reports say that maybe they'll decide on an $8 billion cut. $8 billion. What does that mean? That means that 850,000 families in this country will be impacted in a negative way by that cut. 1.7 million people. And for those people who would be impacted by that $8 billion cut, it is about a $90 cut per month and the benefit they get, $90. Now, you add this on top of a cut that happened on November 1st of this year. Every single person on the SNAP program received a cut. That cut that happened on November 1st for an average family of three would be about a $30 cut. So you add the $30 plus the $90 that we're now talking about. That's a $120 cut per month for these families. That's a lot of money, because the fact of the matter is the SNAP benefit as it stands is not overly generous. In fact, I would say it's too stingy. It doesn't provide enough for people to be able to afford food, never mind nutritious food. A lot of the people who show up at our food banks and our food pantries are on the SNAP program. But to cut people's benefits, an average family of three, by about $120 per month is outrageous. We don't have to worry about, no one in this chamber has to worry about whether or not they can afford to put food on the table for their families. You know, why aren't we more concerned with the fact that there are so many people in this country who are food insecure and who are outright hungry? We need to do something about this. Mr. Speaker, you know, I've heard my colleagues say, well, we're not really trying to cut people's benefits. All we're trying to do is we're trying to reform the program. We're trying to combat a culture of dependency. When you cut this program that provides food to poor people, what you do is you don't deal with the issue of a culture of dependency. What you do is you make their lives more miserable. The fact of the matter is the majority of people on SNAP are children, are senior citizens, and are disabled people. Of those who can work, a majority of them work. There are people who work full-time, and still are so poor they qualify for SNAP assistance. And the response of this Congress is going to be to make their lives more miserable? I'd ask my colleagues who support these cuts, is that what you came here for? To make the lives of the most vulnerable in this country more miserable? Is that what you are here for? Is that the purpose of your service in the United States Congress? I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. We need to solve these problems. And the fact of the matter is that increasing hunger in America, costs us a great deal. Hungry kids don't learn in school. Senior citizens who can't afford their food and their medication and take their medication on an empty stomach end up in our emergency rooms. There's a cost to hunger. In fact, it is more expensive to tolerate the hunger in America than it is to solve the problem. We were elected to solve problems, to lift people up, not put people down. And I will just finally close, Mr. Speaker, by saying I would urge the White House to get more involved in this issue. Get involved in this fight. There are some things worth fighting for. Ending poverty, ending hunger in America is worth fighting for. Mr. Speaker, I urge all my colleagues to reject cuts in the SNAP program that will increase hunger in America. I yield back to